Science has uncovered much about the mechanisms of aging, yet one question remains deeply thought-provoking. Why do we age, and what purpose does it serve? Look around you. Every living thing, trees, animals, even the stars above, follows the same inescapable pattern: birth, growth, decay, and death. But why? Is aging merely a biological inevitability, or could it hold a greater evolutionary purpose? Perhaps even a deeper philosophical significance? In today's video, here on Stardust Minds, we're diving into these profound questions, exploring the science behind why we age, the evolutionary theories that may explain it, and most importantly, what purpose dying serves. Could death itself hold a deeper meaning in the grand design of life? Aging is one of life's great certainties. It is, in its simplest terms, the gradual breakdown of living systems. But what actually happens as we age? Biologists describe it as the accumulation of damage. Every moment, our cells work tirelessly to divide, repair, and keep us alive. But over time, this machinery begins to falter. DNA mutations build up, cellular processes slow down, and our bodies become less capable of repairing the damage. One of the first breakthroughs in understanding aging came from the work of Leonard Hayflick, who discovered that our cells have a limit. Known as the Hayflick limit, this idea revealed that human cells can only divide a certain number of times before they stop functioning. This discovery was a milestone, but it also deepened the mystery. If aging is just the result of biological wear and tear, why do some species live far longer than others? Why do some, like certain jellyfish, seem almost immune to aging altogether? So what exactly causes aging at the cellular level? As it turns out, there's more to the story than just the Hayflick limit. One major player is something called telomeres. These are protective caps at the ends of our DNA strands. Imagine them like the plastic tips on shoelaces. Telomeres prevent our DNA from fraying during cell division. But with every division, these telomeres shorten until eventually they become too short to protect the DNA. At this point, the cell stops dividing and enters a state called senescence. This is where aging takes a toll. Senescent cells don't divide or function properly, and they release harmful chemicals that damage neighboring cells. Over time, these zombie cells accumulate in our bodies, contributing to age-related decline. And then there's oxidative stress. As our cells create energy, they produce harmful molecules called free radicals. These free radicals damage everything from DNA to proteins, accelerating the wear and tear that we experience as aging. But here's the strange part. Some organisms seem to avoid these problems entirely. For instance, certain types of jellyfish can reset their life cycle, effectively escaping aging. This raises a profound question. If nature can create biological immortality, why don't we have it too? To understand why we don't have biological immortality, we need to look at evolution. Aging, strange as it sounds, might not just be a flaw of biology. It could actually be part of nature's grand design. One of the leading ideas comes from evolutionary biologist Peter Medawar. He proposed something called the mutation accumulation hypothesis. The mutation accumulation hypothesis, as illustrated in these graphs, explains how natural selection's influence declines as organisms age. The very first graph, Graph A, illustrates the two key phases of an organism's life: the wild phase and the protected phase. In the wild phase, survival heavily depends on natural selection, favoring traits that improve reproduction and resilience. However, as organisms age and enter the protected phase, natural selection weakens. The curve flattens, indicating less evolutionary pressure on older organisms. Graph B highlights the concept of the selection shadow. As organisms move past their reproductive years, Natural selection no longer effectively removes harmful mutations. This shaded area represents the mutations and genetic traits that accumulate in later life, contributing to aging and eventual decline. Graph C focuses on the balance between beneficial and harmful traits over an organism's lifespan. In early life, good traits dominate, helping individuals survive and reproduce. However, as organisms age, bad traits begin to accumulate, as natural selection no longer prioritizes the removal of harmful genetic variations. And finally, Graph D introduces the idea of energy allocation. In early life, organisms invest heavily in effective maintenance and repair mechanisms to ensure survival and reproduction. Over time, this investment declines, leading to the gradual breakdown of biological systems that we associate with aging. Another perspective comes from George C. Williams, who developed the antagonistic pleiotropy theory. This theory suggests that some genes benefit us when we're young, but harm us as we age. For example, a strong immune response might protect us in our youth, but in old age, it could lead to chronic inflammation. And then there's the disposable Soma theory, proposed by Thomas Kirkwood. This idea focuses on energy trade-offs. Evolution prioritizes reproduction over long-term survival. Maintaining a perfect, ageless body requires enormous energy, and nature, it seems, prefers to invest that energy in creating the next generation. But here's the real question. If aging and death are evolutionary necessities, do they serve a purpose beyond biology? Could there be a deeper, even philosophical reason for why we age and die? To answer this question, we must step beyond biology and evolution and into the realm of philosophy. Philosophers throughout history have grappled with the meaning of death and aging. Arthur Schopenhauer argued that life's transience is what gives it meaning. If we were immortal, he suggested, we might lose our sense of urgency, our drive to achieve, and our appreciation for the fleeting beauty of existence. Albert Camus, on the other hand, believed that the inevitability of death forces us to confront the absurd. Life, according to Camus, is a constant search for meaning in a universe that offers none. Yet he concluded that it is in this struggle against the absurd that we find purpose. We must, as he famously wrote, imagine Sisyphus happy. So, could aging and death be more than just biological phenomena? Could they be nature's way of teaching us to value the time we have, to live deeply, and to find meaning in the moments that matter most? But as science pushes the boundaries of what's possible, we're beginning to ask questions like, could we challenge death itself? With breakthroughs in longevity research, we're closer than ever to understanding, and potentially defying, the mechanisms of aging and mortality. Take sirtuins, for example, molecules that act as the guardians of our cells, protecting our DNA and regulating cellular health. Researchers like David Sinclair have found ways to activate these molecules, slowing the cellular damage that comes with aging. Then there's nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, NAD+, a molecule that fuels our cells with energy. As we age, these molecule levels decline, but boosting them has shown remarkable results in improving cellular function in older organisms. Yet this raises an even deeper question. Even if we could escape death, would we still need it? What purpose does death serve in the grand design of life, and how would humanity change if death were no longer inevitable? Defying death might seem like humanity's greatest achievement. But have we truly considered what a world without aging or death might look like? There arises the question of inequality then, doesn't it? Advanced anti-aging technologies like gene editing or NAD+ boosters would likely be expensive and accessible only to the wealthy. Could immortality create an even greater divide between the rich and the poor, where the privileged carry on living forever while others are left behind? It would be a twisted version of survival of the fittest, where fit no longer means being strong or adaptable, but simply being wealthy. In such a world, those without access to these technologies might quite literally die for not having money, while others carry on living indefinitely, protected by their wealth. This stark disparity could fundamentally reshape what it means to be human, creating a divide so profound that life itself becomes a privilege of the elite. And what about meaning? Death has always been a reminder that our time is limited, pushing us to prioritize, to love, to create. Isn't it true if death were removed from the equation, life would lose its urgency? The immortality would lead to stagnation, boredom, or even despair, wouldn't it? Perhaps the greatest paradox of all is this: while science strives to overcome death, it is death that gives life its shape, its urgency, and its meaning. In the end, perhaps death is not the enemy we've always imagined it to be. Instead, it might be life's most profound teacher, a reminder that our time is finite, and it's this finiteness that makes every moment precious. And yes, science might one day defy death, but as we've seen, the question isn't just, can we? It is, should we? If death were no longer inevitable, would life lose its urgency, its depth, and its meaning? As we conclude, I'll leave you with some questions to ponder. If science could conquer aging and death, would it truly make life better? Or would it rob us of its meaning? And most importantly, do you agree with evolutionary biologists who suggest that death is important because nature prefers to invest energy in creating the next generation rather than keeping one alive? Let me know what you think about the questions I asked in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for joining this journey through life, death, and everything in between. If you enjoyed exploring these ideas, please like, share, and subscribe to Stardust Minds.